Hello and welcome to my channel. I have a quick showcase of the cards that I made using the Crafter's Companion box number 29. This one is all about Eclipse stamping. And I did create a flip tutorial for the cards that I'm showing here. So if you want to see how these cards were made, I'll go ahead and link to that video and at the end of this one and in the upper right hand corner. So the Eclipse style of card is where you have a stamped image or pattern paper and then you die cut right into that pattern and then you inlay those die cuts right back in. And because this is a flip showcase, I do have cards in flat, layered, interactive, and pop-up style. And so this is a totally flat card. So you can hardly really see at all the sentiment. But once you open it, then you'll see the lots of thanks. And it's completely flat. So this is stamped and colored right onto the card base, and then the dies are inlaid onto the inside of the card. Now, if you watch my tutorial video where I created this card, and you can probably already see it, but I did make a couple of mistakes. So when I was lining up my dies, my N is actually upside down, and I was focused so much on lining it up so that it was perfectly straight that I didn't notice that it was upside down because it still, looks like an N. It's just that the top has an extra little kind of serif that hangs off. And then with the S, when I was applying the drop shadow, I applied it upside down. And when I started to inlay that back in, I realized that it didn't fit with the actual image, and so I had to turn it around, and so my shadow is actually in the opposite direction from all of the other shadows. So this is a card that I probably won't send to anyone, which is a shame because it took me a long time to actually color everything in, but still you kind of get the idea for how to create a flat Eclipse style card. So that is my first card. Then I have two layered cards, and this is more in the standard style of what you would expect of an Eclipse card. So here I've used the pattern paper and some black foam to give it some extra dimension, and by popping it up on the foam, you can really then make out the sentiment and read it. So that's my first of two layered cards. The second layered card I have, if you're finding that it's kind of hard to read the sentiment, this is one thing that you can do to kind of help with that. So I've die cut the word thanks 3 times, and on the first and third, I use the Eclipse style, so you still have that Eclipse effect, but then I've left the middle one die cut through and backed it with some black paper. That way you get the contrast and legibility of this middle row here, but then you still can appreciate sort of that neat Eclipse effect on the top and bottom row. So just another way of doing the Eclipse style card if you're worried about somebody having a hard time reading the front of the card. So there are my 2 layered cards, and here is my interactive Eclipse style card. And so there's a pull here. So when I pull the panel up, then you can kind of see that the Eclipse starts to change because it goes from total Eclipse with the floral background behind it. Then as you slide the panel up, it goes to white, and when you slide it all the way up, then it's backed by black. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then I wanted to have a little extra sentiment that is visible when you pull it up completely. So the kit does come with some additional sentiments or words that you can add to whatever phrase that you choose, because the kit includes a full alphabet. So that is going to be how you get your main phrase, whether it's thanks or happy or whatever have you. They have a few, actually quite a nice selection of different words that you can add either before or after your main phrase. So this is my interactive card, and it did kind of take me a little bit of time to kind of figure out how to create flat layered. Well, the layered card was kind of easy, but the flat, the interactive, and pop-up style of cards, but still embrace the whole Eclipse look. So I thought it was a really nice, fun challenge. And here's my final card. So this is also stamped and colored. I used color pencil to color this one, and as well as I think I used color pencil here, and I think on this one I used water-based markers. Anyway, getting back to my final card, which is my pop-up card. So here, it may be a little bit hard to tell, but the word thanks is actually recessed in. So instead of popping out, it's actually sunken in. And that's because when you open it, it's actually attached to the inside of the card on this really simple sort of pop-up mechanism. And then you get a nice floral spray that's colored kind of the same as what's die cut out or what's stamped and colored on the front. And so I just stamped and colored some more and then did some fussy cutting, because you do not get dies to cut out these flowers, but they're pretty easy to fussy cut, and I'm not a good fussy cutter, so if I think it's manageable, then anyone can do it. And so what I've done here is I just took the letters that were cut out of the card base, which is white, and I used it as a highlight to my floral letters. So instead of a drop shadow that I would normally put to the right and shift it down a little, I've used the white as a highlight. So I've pushed it to the left and up from the floral die cuts. And that's because I wanted to put it against the black background. Because I always find that when you have something really colorful, setting it against black really makes it even more striking. But if you're worried at all about legibility, having that little offset with the white highlight can make it a little bit easier to read. So those are the cards that I made using this kit. If you'd like to actually see how I make these cards, I'll link to the tutorial video at the end of this one. Thank you so much, and until my next video, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!